Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a subject to you that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And this is going to be a different take on cybersecurity, something that I haven't covered previously. I made at least one other video about the perils and pitfalls of obsessing about cybersecurity, thinking it's some kind of complete solution or can possibly be a complete solution when it's not, actually. So this one's going to be different. This one is actually about the origins of passwords and usernames. Turns out a lot of people have the wrong idea. A lot of people believe that passwords are about security, and actually no, not so much. This is the interesting thing. Back in the day, it became evident pretty quickly when users were able to create profiles and upload content or save content to the web that there needed to be a way, at the very least, to pair a profile with that content so that, when you return to the website, for example, you can access it again. Permanency, some kind of ownership of the content, which may not be sensitive content necessarily. In fact, a lot of the information in the early web was very public, bulletin board systems and whatnot, but it still needed a way to associate the user with the information that pertained to them, their settings, their files, whatever. And the only way you can do that logically is by having some kind of a login. So it's a different idea than trying to keep the information separate from everybody else. That's not really the necessarily the main point. It's being able to just get to your stuff, and there's no other way to do it without a login. So it's an idea that persists to this day, that passwords and usernames, while they can be secure, and there is certainly personal sensitive information that probably shouldn't be broadcast to everybody or could be damaging to a person if it were hacked and obtained by random people, passwords and usernames aren't necessarily all about security. This is not a well understood thing. Even in the IT field, it is believed that best practice is the maximum security you can possibly do, which just isn't true. And this can be a short video, but I want to make one last point on this subject, that the open source community that is collaborating, redesigning projects, improvising and forking, and then contributing to other people's projects or public projects, is a really great way for innovation to occur. It's not really it hasn't gotten the credit in mainstream media or business that I think it deserves, because there are some staunch capitalists, if you will, who don't really understand it and believe that there's only one way to do things, and that is centralized, commercial, and closed source. There are people who still believe this, and it's coincidentally the same people who advocate strongly for security first and safety first when it comes to cybersecurity, because of course they have some kind of honeypot, and they're viewing everything as ownable property, when it's also, and probably first and foremost, a tool that people can and should use. So information is meant to flow. The internet is all about information. Networks are about transmission, broadcasting, and receiving of information. And to inhibit that, to make it safe, is to damage its usability. That is to say, usability and abusability are the same thing. You can't harm one without harming the other. So if you're trying to make it safe, all you're doing is ruining the network. The safest network is no network. But once you understand that, and that security is optional, and maybe the problem is that we're looking at ownership wrong, and maybe some of that stuff shouldn't even be on the internet to begin with, it takes on a much simpler and easier model. It's much easier to manage. There's less danger of people trying to get to something that is easy to get to begin with. So anyway, I brought up this subject because I'm working on a project, and I might make a video just about that. But it involves usernames, logins, and it is actually very secure. It's kind of a fire-tested system, and I've used it before. But I will go into that in another video. So if you have questions or comments, please reach out to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thanks.